enter the world of a small-time criminal as he works to put a crew together in the town of Cantaloop. Thanks for joining us at Tantrum House Studio D. I'm Melissa Delp.
And I'm Kevin Delp. Cantaloop Book 1, Breaking into Prison, is a co-op adventure game for 1 to 4 players, published by Lookout Games, who sent us this copy to review.
It takes about 5 to 8 hours to play, but you can save your progress throughout the game, so you don't have to play it all in one sitting.
The whole game comes in the spiral-bound book, with a tutorial on how to play at the beginning.
We're not going to spoil any of the story or the puzzles, but we do want to give a general overview of how the game plays and some of our thoughts about the game.
In the game, you'll be going to different locations and interacting with items and people, trying to figure out the different puzzles in order to advance the story.
You'll start the game with a red decoder, inventory booklet, and a deck of cards.
The codes are hidden, and you use the red decoder to read parts of the story. But you can't just read any code you want. You'll read the corresponding code that matches the item you're looking at or interacting with.
You can even combine things together to read codes that may unlock new things in the game.
There are keys on some of the pages that you'll use to unlock codes.
You'll also be able to talk to characters in the story, and sometimes, after you unlock different items, you can continue the conversation to learn more.
And there is a trigger sheet that you'll be crossing off spaces. This will help you keep track of where you are in the story.
And if you ever need a hint to figure out what's next,
We never do that.
then you use that sheet. It's super helpful because it's going to tell you which hint to go to in the help section. And there are different levels of tips, so it's up to you how much you want to reveal, all the way up to the solution that tells you exactly what you need to do.
If you're familiar with the point-and-click adventure computer games that were really popular in the 1980s, 1990s, like Myst, Grim Fandango, or Curse of Monkey Island, then you'll understand that they were definitely an inspiration for Cantaloop.
Yeah, definitely. You get those vibes throughout the game, and not just in the gameplay, but also the writing style.
I totally agree.
The humor definitely reminded me of some of those games.
But this game is rated age 16 and up. And I would definitely agree with that. First of all, the overall theme is about a criminal doing criminal things like stealing, and I don't think it's really spoiling anything to say you're trying to break someone out of prison.
Also, there is some language, crude humor, and use of adult items throughout the story. Not really things that you want to explain to kids.
In some locations, taking certain actions change the scene, so you'll place cards over a portion of the illustration. This often removes obstacles or reveals new codes or things to interact with. The red decoder works well, and you sort of get used to moving it around as you reveal more of the story. I enjoyed most of the puzzles and trying to figure things out.
Yeah, definitely some of them were very satisfying.
But there were a few things that were definitely far-fetched. I don't want to spoil anything, but putting some of the items together didn't make logical sense even after you read the hint on what to do.
Yeah, we would have never figured it out. And there are even some achievements you can receive when you think outside of the box.
One thing I really did like was that you have to be aware of what room you're in and how that relates to other rooms.
Right. You definitely have to pay attention to the illustrations. They contain hints and important information.
The art has a fun feel to it and is reminiscent of something like the Curse of Monkey Island game. It's kind of interesting that this doesn't even look like a board game. It's like a book, and this is book 1 of a 3-part series. The next one's called A Hack of a Plan.
Now, I would put this in the same category as maybe the escape room games, Exit, Unlock. It also has a little bit of the adventure games, and maybe the graphic novel adventures, where you have some puzzles and mystery, but also a story going on.
For me, I think I still like the Unlocks and Exits a little bit better. I would not actually recommend this because of the adult content. I think the game would have still worked even without all that stuff, that the language and the adult items. I think the story could have still worked, and I think that's really what the main detractor for me was.
I agree with that, but I have heard that the designer might be working on some other stories that are more family friendly, and I would definitely be interested in checking those out.
I would also agree with that. I would definitely love looking at those as well. So that was Cantaloop from Lookout Games. Please like and subscribe. Book 1, Breaking into Prism, is Prism.
Prism. Those prisms, watch out for.
Gotta watch him. Book 1, Breaking... I keep thinking about that prism.
Well, at least you didn't say cantaloupe.
I know. Cantaloupe. It's a good fruit that you want to break into.